Over the past 25 years, Ad Astra has worked to develop a set of scheduling metrics that can be used to evaluate the health of a schedule at an institution from the lens of both student course access and their availability to get into courses, as well as the overall efficiency of the schedule on a term-by-term basis. And we've built out a benchmark utilizing these metrics that we call the Higher Education Scheduling Index, or the HESI for short. The HESI is made up of 15 key metrics that focus kind of in two distinct areas within a scheduling set. One being the course offerings, how are courses filling? You can see on my dashboard here things like enrollment ratio, which is the Ad Astra metric for fill rate. How many courses are overloaded? How many courses fit into kind of a balanced bucket where we're both meeting the demand with the number of seats, but we're not over offering, as well as something like underutilization. What percentage of the schedule is filled below in that lower grade as far as overall enrollment ratio or fill rate? So we're looking at those types of metrics, as well as the space capacity and room utilization metrics. How often are we scheduling into rooms in the standard week, in the prime time, that subset of scheduling everyone is most looking to get into? How much of our schedule is compressed into prime time? On top of that, how well are we scheduling to a dominant grid? We have a metric included in the scheduling index called off-grid utilization that measures each institution's kind of historical schedule and their ability to stick to a dominant grid, a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 to 9:50, 10 to 10:50, or Tuesday, Thursday, 9 to 10:15. How well are we sticking to that grid? And when we do schedule off the grid, how much classroom space is left empty, what we would call off-grid waste, that's kind of created by that off-grid schedule. So all of these metrics play into an overall benchmark that allows us to give each institution a score, and we plot that institution on this quadrant in the top of our benchmark based on, again, course access in the y-axis and if the efficiency of the schedule on the x-axis here. We can compare your institution to peers, whether that be peers that are institutionally the same, four-year publics, four-year privates, two-year community colleges, or even all the way down to Carnegie classifications, where we're looking at schools that are in your Carnegie classification and are the same type of institution. We have years worth of data on this that we've been able to connect and kind of find the right patterns for how do we move the needle on these types of metrics, and how do these metrics then connect back to the actual success of our students. We know there's a few key metrics within our benchmark that really are huge levers when we're talking about graduation for students, retention for students. The more that we can control and create access for students without harming the overall efficiency, the better we're going to be able to both serve our students and be kind of stewards of the resources that we have at the institution. So our goal within our benchmark is to be able to report on that term after term, show progress on that each term, and give the institutions a little bit of insight into how their institution is performing in comparison to their peers. We can also look at this as I flip to a similar dashboard here. We're also able to trend this data and show improvement. So coming out of COVID, a lot of folks are interested. What happened to our schedule? What areas did we regress on? Where did we improve? And by utilizing this benchmark and stacking this data term after term after term in the same exact way as we pull this from a student information system, we're able to give institutions kind of a state of the union as to where our schedule is coming out of COVID and where should we be focused. In my sample institution here, 47% of the courses are overloaded or filling above 95%. That's a high number. It's well above the goal. It's well above the peer average. That's where we need to start. We should go look at those overloaded or courses that are capping out, not just at the end of the term, but in the moment. We can flip over to the Ad Astra Monitor app to see what are the courses that are filled right now as we head into fall 2022. We can see what are the courses that maybe are off the dominant grid, that aren't scheduled on the grid ahead of the schedule. Let's get them back on the grid. Lots of different opportunities here to directly pull some levers that can impact your students' ability to get the courses that they need in the terms that they need them, get maximum credit loads, increase that degree velocity, and while all the time remaining kind of aware of how much space we have available, what is the overall efficiency of the schedule, and how can we balance this idea of course access being paramount for our students, but knowing that we have a limited set of resources, and there's a fine line where we can use data to really inform decisions to drive that conversation. So if you're interested in learning more about the Higher Education Scheduling Index or the HESI, feel free to reach out to Ad Astra. We'd love to talk a little bit more about it and tell you a little bit more about how these metrics as well connect back to things like student success, retention, graduation, all with the goal of helping our students be more successful, and colleges and universities across the nation be able to manage their schedule efficiently each term.